Hi guys, so I'm back today, and we're here with another tutorial, or kind of a guide, not really a tutorial, on how you can migrate and how you can add a new character to the fantasy RPG. So somebody purchased this pack. This is the character customization system that I created about a year ago, and they want to know how they can merge the male character to fantasy RPG. So I'm gonna try and quickly show you how you can do that. One of the few things we have to think about, or some of the few things we have to think about, this character is male first of all, and the fantasy RPG character is female. So when it comes to things like animations and retargeting the animations, body structure, they're not gonna match very well. So we'll probably need to do quite a bit of work to get everything to match correctly. And another thing is, both this product and the fantasy RPG have customization. You can customize the face, you can customize the body, the skin, and a lot of customization works with morph targets. So in terms of customization, this should work. Almost everything should work out of the box, because I do believe that the female character in the fantasy RPG, as well as this character, most of the morph targets actually have the same names. So the customization should work for the most part, but we might have to change a few names or a few things. For example, the body weight morph target is called chubbiness in the fantasy RPG. So we would have to change that either to body weight if we're migrating to the blueprint in fantasy RPG, or to chubbiness if we're migrating to the blueprint in this pack, in the character customization pack. So anyway, let's get to it. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna migrate this character to fantasy RPG, because we want this character to be a part of the fantasy RPG pack. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna highlight the assets I want to migrate. I don't want to migrate the character blueprint. I want to use the fantasy RPG blueprint. So I'm gonna highlight the male folder. I'm gonna highlight everything from the animations to the mesh, so that I can see everything. There aren't many animations. I think there are just 2 or 3 animations here: run animation, walk animation, and fall in and idle. Okay, so I'm gonna migrate all that except for the animation blueprint, because I don't need the animation blueprint. I'll use the animation blueprint for fantasy RPG in this case. So I'm gonna right click on those assets and I'm gonna click on migrate. So this means we're leaving behind the customization blueprint for this pack. So I'm gonna find my fantasy RPG project, Unreal Engine. I've made a copy of it in advance, because I don't want to overwrite the original pack. So I'll migrate it to the content folder, and it's gonna copy all those files. And once it's done, okay, it's done. I'm gonna switch over to the fantasy RPG project. So I'm gonna open project, I'm gonna browse for it, and under my UE projects, Unreal Engine projects over here, I'm gonna find fantasy RPG, the copy. Okay. I'm gonna fire that up. Yeah. So there's gonna be a few things we're gonna have to change, especially in the animations. Maybe the walk animation, because the walk, it's very female. She walks swimming in her hips or left to right. We don't expect that in a male, in a usual male walk. So yeah, this is the fantasy RPG pack. We're gonna just take a very quick look at what we've got here. I'm gonna press Ctrl P to play, Alt P, and I'm gonna start a new game. So this starts out with the animation, the character landing into the environment. And we're probably gonna get rid of this because I'm not gonna redo it for the male character. I'm not gonna redo that opening animation. So yeah, first thing, the walk animation. Okay, we're gonna retarget the animation blueprint for this character to the male character, but we don't want him to be walking like a female. I don't know what you guys are into, but I would rather he walks like a male. Okay, so that's one of the first things we're gonna be changing. And the run animation is okay. We're probably gonna use the same run animation so that he looks like he's holding a shield and a sword. The attack animations should be okay. The attack animations should be okay. The grenade animation should be okay as well. So yeah, that's what we have here. This is a pretty big level. At the end of the level you have a boss fight with a dragon. So yeah, so that's what we have. Let's get into it. Let's start changing these assets. Okay, so I'm just gonna come out of the full screen mode, and I'm gonna find my character blueprint. So first of all, if we have a look at this blueprint, I think I showed it to you in the previous video. It's quite simple. Everything is very exposed. All the functions are right there. Like I said in the previous video, I didn't make anything complicated. No, there's no AI trees. There's no like there isn't even any functions, because I feel like functions are a little bit limited than compared to like a pure event graph. So some of the things we're gonna have to deal with are the morph targets. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to change the morph target names in a few places. Maybe the cheek size, the jaw size, nose size, lip size, eye shape, and all the rest of that. Eye shape, we don't have an eye shape on that male character. We just have a face shape, so we're probably not gonna use this morph target. We'll replace it with something else. And the body weight is called chubbiness here. We're gonna change that, but we'll do that after we retarget the animations. Let's start with the animations first of all. I'll keep this open. Okay, I'll just throw it over to my other screen for a second, and I'm gonna find the male character. I'll open him up. So that should be in, we migrated this custom characters, meshes, rather custom characters, character, male, mesh, and we'll open up the male SK. Alright, so with this character there's one issue which I noticed. It might not be an issue on your copy of it, but I think I might have updated it, but I'll probably have to re-download this pack just to check. But in this copy there's an issue of on the retargeting manager. Just jump to the skeleton so that we can see that. On the retarget manager there's a few bones which are in the wrong place. Okay, all this is fine, all the base is fine, but if we go to show advanced, you notice that on the IK hand left there's a pinky bone there, so it's not supposed to be like that. So just in case your copy is like that, you can change it. You just find the IK left hand. This is based off of the Epic skeleton. So usually when I auto map with a character that's created directly from the Epic skeleton, everything goes in the correct position. But for some reason it didn't happen with this character. There's just very few, but there is indeed a few that are in the wrong position. So another one that's in the wrong position is the Pinky 3 has the ring finger bone instead of the Pinky 3 bone. So we'll set that to the Pinky 3. Should be the right. And I think those are the only two major mess ups there. For the rest we can just set these usually don't even do anything as far as I know, but we could just set them up correctly. They're set to none. They should be set to what I'm entering now. So this should be IK hand root, and this should be the gun hand, and this should be the, okay, that's fine, and this should be the right hand. So IK hand R. Okay, I think that's all I noticed. I don't think there's any other problems here. Yeah, so just save that out in case it causes any issues. Just make sure you check and make sure that everything's correct there. It's very easy to do because all the bones are named the same, which is why this auto map should have worked, but for some reason it didn't. It worked with the female character but not with the male one. So yeah, that's all we're gonna do there. I'm not gonna start playing with the poses and all the rest of that because my intention here is only to retarget the animation blueprint, not to retarget the animations themselves. Okay. Personally, I don't use Unreal Engine to retarget animations. If I want to transfer an animation from one character to another one, I jump into Maya. Okay, because it's much cleaner, it's much easier, it's much faster. Okay, so you might not have Maya, so in that case you would have to use the Unreal Engine retargeting, or maybe some other software that you might have. But personally for me, that's just how I do it with everything. So if you have to use the Unreal Engine retargeting, then, and if you don't know how to go about it, then I suggest you look at some tutorials on YouTube, because like I said, this is just a guide, this is not a tutorial, so I'm not here to teach you how to retarget. You can look at some tutorials on YouTube, even on the Unreal Engine channel. There's plenty of tutorials there concerning retargeting. They'll explain everything you have to do, how you have to pose the characters and all the rest of that. So first things first, we're gonna jump over to the female, and we're gonna find the female's animation blueprint. So I'm gonna search for it right here, okay, because that's the fastest way to find it. Hit the search button, and this is the female's animation blueprint. Okay, I'll fire that up, and it's got a whole bunch of functions. So I want these functions to be on the male character. I don't want to recreate them. Last time, in the last part, we recreated a new blueprint for the Paragon character, but this time we're going to retarget the blueprint instead of recreating it, okay, so that we don't have to recreate all these functions, and we don't have to like redo the animation graph. So I'm gonna go to the skeleton. I'm gonna put it on the side over here, and I'm gonna go to the male skeleton. I'm gonna put it on the side over here. I just want to make a comparison to the two. Yeah. So one of the first things you notice is the obvious. I already stated in this project and in the previous video. The structure is completely different. This guy is very big and buff. This girl is small and petite. Okay, so retargeting our animations is not going to go smoothly. Okay, and that's the reason why I use Maya instead of Unreal. If you're a professional at retargeting using Unreal, I'm pretty sure you can get it to you can get the pose to the poses to match enough for the retargeting to work out well. But if we use Maya, we don't have to worry about that. So anyway, the structure is different. So if you're using Unreal to retarget, please expect to have some trouble. It's nothing to do with the way the character is designed. It's just the body structure is totally different. Okay, I would have to make her structure the same as the male character if I wanted a perfect retargeting, which you know, we don't want female characters to have the same body as male characters, because that's just not realistic. I mean, I know there's some women there who are pretty manly, there's some men out there probably who are girly, but in a normal situation these will be different. Okay, so we're going to retarget this. Let's go to that blueprint again. Let's find it in the content browser and let's retarget. Right click on that retarget animation and duplicate that. I'm gonna retarget to the male. You could do it for the zombie as well if you wanted. We're gonna retarget to the male, and I'm gonna change the folder. I want it to go to the animation folder. I'm gonna go to the custom characters, character male animation, and hit OK. And we're gonna retarget. So everything jumps over, but like I said, I don't think it's gonna be clean. Let's take a look at the run animation. And yeah, for sure. So I got no idea why the fingers are messed up. I know for a fact that the bones are set in the correct position. So you probably have to look at some retargeting tutorials to see how to fix this, but like I said, I'm not gonna use these animations. I'm gonna retarget everything. I'm gonna transfer the animations between these characters in Maya. Okay, so yeah, please do look at some documentation for retargeting so that you can avoid this kind of problems if you're going to be using Unreal to retarget your animations. Okay, so I've got that retargeted. I'm gonna fix it in Maya, but before we do anything else, I'm gonna replace the female character in this blueprint, in this character blueprint, with the male character. I'm gonna go to the mesh for the male character, and I'm gonna replace the main mesh with the male SK. Okay, so now it's got a male character there, and we're gonna replace the clothing. Our clothing, we don't have any fantasy clothing for this character, so we're just gonna use what we do have. For the leg armor, I'm gonna go for the camo pants. For the chest armor, I'm gonna go for the camo chest piece. For the hair, I'm gonna go for the male hair. You could use the long hair or the short hair. I'll go for the short hair. And for the shoes, yeah, so that's one of the major differences between Fantasy RPG and the custom character pack. The custom character pack comes with shoes, whereas Fantasy RPG doesn't come with shoes. So I'm gonna use the gauntlets for the shoes for now. So I'll select the sneakers. I'll replace the gauntlets with the sneakers. I think I'm gonna go for the boot. It will look more natural on these clothes. We're on the wrong piece. I don't like pressing Ctrl Z in Unreal, it tends to crash. So I'm just gonna do that again. I'm gonna click this and replace with the shoes. So yeah, I'd say boots. It doesn't have boots, it's got shoes. Okay, I'm gonna compile that. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all of these assets, all the skeleton meshes, as well as the character mesh. And I'm gonna go to my animations and I'm gonna find that animation blueprint we retargeted, and I'm gonna add it to the animation class. Okay, so this is a problem I've seen before. Only the main character seems to be working with the blueprint. I don't know what causes that, or what causes these others to not switch animations. But if we hit simulate, it should work. So yeah, let's compile that. On screen here it's not, but once we press play, everything should be fine. So I'm gonna hit play, new game. I haven't gotten rid of this animation. We can get rid of this animation by removing it from the event graph in the level blueprint. So yeah, this is gonna look dirty. As you can see, the fingers are messed up. It's something to do with the retargeting. We're gonna fix that. So first thing you're gonna notice is walk is female. We don't want that. No, at least I don't want that. I want the walk to be male and manly. Okay. And another thing, it doesn't have weapons because this skeleton doesn't have the sockets for the weapons. The run animation is not that bad, just the fingers. And I'm sure the attack animations are okay. Alright, so that's what we have so far. So I don't know if you saw it, but yeah, the shield is down there, the sword is down there. So we need to add sockets for the shield and sword to be attached to him, to his hands. I'm gonna exit from there. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add those sockets so that the shield and the sword can be on the hands. And then after that, we're gonna look at the morph targets, and then we're gonna look at the animations. So I'm gonna open up the skeleton for our character. Just remember to save. You never know what could happen. I've just saved everything. But first things first, go to the skeleton, go to the hand. On the left hand, I'm gonna add a socket. We're gonna name it shield because that's the name of the socket where the shield goes. So if you don't know what the name is, you can go into the blueprint and you can double check. And then on the right hand, I'm gonna add a socket. I'm gonna call it weapon hand because that's the name of the socket where the weapon goes. Weapon underscore hand. And for the weapon hand, I'm gonna add a preview asset, not the ancient sword. I want to add the iron sword and make sure it's correctly positioned. Okay, so it's in the wrong position for sure. You can go to the hand and select that socket and move it down into his palm. That should be good enough. So if it's not good enough, you can always go back in and adjust it to your liking. I'm gonna search for that shield. I'm gonna add a socket here. No, I'm gonna add a preview asset. We've already got a socket. So add preview asset and call it a shield. This is an iron shield. In the wrong position as well by default. We just need to adjust that. So there's a problem with this one. This character's wrist, his wrist is a lot bigger, a lot buffier than the female. So clipping might be a problem. We need to adjust this more than we did with the female. And another thing we should keep in mind is this shield was designed for the female character. So it might not work as well for the male character because of the different body sizes. So as you can see, it doesn't fit in there perfectly. The bottom half is supposed to be held by his hand, and this is supposed to be around his wrist. I could try adjusting it, but the more we adjust it, the worse it gets, as far as I can tell, because of the clipping. So anyway, we can have it like this, because while we're playing, we're not even gonna see this side of his arm for the most part, but we're definitely gonna be seeing this side. So if it's clipping on this side, that's much worse. So anyway, you can adjust the assets as you see fit until you get what you like. But I'm not gonna make this video so long. But anyway, you can work with it until you get what you like. You could maybe just make it so that he's only holding this part to remove this. That would also work out if you don't want that clipping to be there. So yeah. Okay, he's got his shield and his sword. Let's save that out. So I'm pretty sure the socket names are correct. I don't think we even have to test this out. I won't hit play, I'll just simulate to see if it's working. Okay, so the shield is working. The sword doesn't seem to be in his hand. So I'm gonna go to the event graph and I'm gonna try and see where the problem is. So this is where we attach the sword and the shield. Sword hand, it should be the correct socket name, so I'm not really sure why the sword isn't appearing there. Okay, so it's not weapon hand, it's sword hand. So we're gonna save that. It should work now. Okay, so the weapon is now in his hand. So it's facing a little bit up. We might want to adjust that, but we can adjust this later on when we've got proper animations set up, because if we adjust it now, we'll be adjusting it for this animation, which we're not even going to use. Okay, so we'll make that adjustment later if it will be necessary. Okay, so that's working, and the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna replace some of these animations. So I'm gonna replace some animations. I'm gonna redo some other animations from the female to the male, but for the idle animation, I'm just gonna replace it with a male animation. Okay, and for the walk animation, I'm gonna replace it with a male animation. For the attack animations, I'm gonna transfer the animations to the male character. So we go into our animations. We can go to our walk and run blend space. That should be idle run block blend space, idle run blend space. Okay, so I want idle run blend space. Alright, so this is not the one I want. This is the original blend space. It's not the one for the female character, the one we migrated. Rather, the one we retargeted. That should be this one. Yeah, this is the one that's in use now. So I'm going to replace that idle animation with this one. Should be with this one. I'm not seeing the preview there. There should have been a preview. So we can have this idle animation where he's looking around, or we can have the idle animation where he's just looking forward. So whatever you prefer, I'm gonna go for this one. Seems more active. And for the walk animation, we're not gonna have that. We're gonna have this one here. Okay. So that also solves the problem we're having with the fingers. For the run animation, I'm going to replace this as well, just with the same walk animation. For the run animation, I could use the run animation that comes with our male character, or I could retarget this one. I think this would be better because, you know, you can see that he's carrying a sword in this animation, whereas in this one, this is just a normal run, and the shield is even overlapping with his body. So we're not gonna use this. We're just gonna retarget this animation. Okay, we've already retargeted it, but I'm gonna use Maya instead of Unreal Engine. So at this point, we can jump into Maya. So I'm gonna drop that, and I'm gonna go to the female character. I'm not gonna use the animation we retargeted. I'm gonna use the original female animation. So I'm gonna look for the animations. Should be in here. Fantasy RPG animations, warrior. It's an in-place animation. So I'm gonna go for the run. I'll fire that up, and I'm gonna transfer this to the male character. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export it. Okay, I'm gonna right click on that, and I'm gonna export this. This female uses the same skeleton as the male character, just the body structure is different. So, but since it's the same skeleton, that means I can use it. I can use her animations on the male character in Maya. So I've exported that, and I'm gonna jump into Maya. Yeah, Maya's firing up. So what I'm gonna use in Maya is the Epic Games ART tools. That's animation and rigging tools. So they're built specifically for working with Unreal Engine. You can probably use them for something else, but you have to download it, and it's only available from Unreal. Should be 4.9 to 4.18 or 4.19. And with Maya, it's only available from Maya 2014 to Maya 2017. I do believe there's a beta version in the works for the latest versions of Maya, but I don't think they've been officially released yet. So yeah, I rigged this male character as well as the female character we've been looking at in Maya. Okay, using the ART tools. If you need to learn about the ART tools, just go to the Unreal Engine channel on YouTube. You'll find information about the animation and rigging tools. So I'm gonna add a character for animation. That's our male character. This is the exact same male character we have in the engine that we're working with. I'm gonna use I'm gonna try and use this one. There are two of them. I think it should be this one. I'm gonna add and close that. So this just makes the whole job of making animations, transferring animations 10 times easier than doing it with Unreal Engine. I hope with Unreal they come up with a system that's built in like this. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to do that. But this perfectly transfers animations from one character to another. So this is a sci-fi version. It's more up to date. So I'm not gonna use this. I want to use the original one I made. The same one you guys have downloaded it for the character customization system. So I'll add a character for animation again. This time I'll go for male custom. Add and close. I could use the same one I opened first, but I'd rather use exactly what we have in Unreal Engine. It should be this. So yeah, I've exported that animation from Unreal. All I have to do is import it now. So I'll find that file. That's the run animation, and I'm not gonna change any settings here. I'll leave it on no root motion. If we import root motion animations, we'll use root motion master animation. So I'll import this, and it's done. Basically, we've cleanly transferred that animation from the female character to the male character. Now all we have to do is export it, and we should be done. So yeah, Maya isn't absolutely perfect either. Whilst most of the things are working correctly, there is a few problems here, starting with the shoulders, for example. For some reason they always stretch out, probably to do with the structure as well. So I'm gonna make an adjustment on the shoulders so that they look more natural. So I'm gonna select this controller over here, and I'm gonna position it in a more natural position. So I don't really know why, but for some reason this character has been taking long to like make selections. It's probably something I did. I'll probably have to go back to some older file and recreate the rig. The rig is created automatically by the animation tools. So yeah, it's selected now. It's supposed to select in an instant, but it takes forever. So I'm gonna highlight all the frames and I'm gonna delete them on that shoulder controller, and then I'm gonna make an adjustment. Just one adjustment should be enough for the whole animation. So I clicked on it again, that's why it's taken long to respond, and that there's no need for me to click on it again. And if you've purchased these products, I can provide you with these Maya files so that you can use Maya to work on your animations as well. All you have to do is provide like evidence that you've purchased the product, maybe a receipt from Epic Games, because I don't feel like helping out people with these files, people who've illegally acquired my content. Yeah, you get no love. Okay, so I'm just gonna adjust the shoulder. And put it in a more natural position. This is just a quick adjustment. We could do something much more detailed. So I've made that adjustment. It looks a lot more natural now. I'm gonna press S to key that frame, and I only need that one key. It should be fine throughout the rest of the animation. Okay, I'm gonna go for the other shoulder blade. That one's gonna take a while to select as well. So I'm gonna fix this file up, figure out why it's taking this long. Naturally it should be just one click and we're done. But obviously something unnatural is going on here. We'll just give it a second. Okay, we've got that. So right now I can't really see where the problem is on this frame. I'll go to a frame where I can clearly see the problem. Okay, for this shoulder it's not that bad. We might not even have to adjust it. But this right here doesn't look nice, so I'm gonna adjust it. I'll highlight all the keys and I'll delete. I'll go to the first frame. I just try to adjust the position. I'll create a key first. And move it forward. So the most common thing that creates a problem is that the most common reason that the shoulder is further back than it's supposed to be. Okay, so that looks a little bit better. Alright, so you can make more adjustments if you'd like. So we're gonna export this. So yeah, as you can see, this is a lot cleaner than what we'd get if we were using Unreal to retarget the animations. And I believe it's a lot faster as well. So I'm gonna export that. I'm gonna hit export. I'm gonna turn fast export on. I don't really know what a slower export benefits us, but anyway, I'm gonna use fast export, and I'm not gonna export any morph targets because I don't want this to take long. I'm gonna choose the output folder. I'm gonna rename it to fixed. Run animation fixed. I'm gonna save that out, hit OK, and export it. Export complete. Now we just need to jump over to Unreal Engine and go to our male character. Find that animation. So we're not using this one, we're using this one, but we're gonna re-import it with a new source. The run fixed, and there we go. You can still make adjustments to the animation in Maya so that it can suit what you want. And if you don't have Maya, that's one thing I forgot to mention. If you don't have Maya, you can still use Unreal and retargeting systems, but I think Maya is just the best way to go. It's a bit expensive, but at least it's cheaper than it used to be. With a Maya Indie license, you should be able to get it for about $260 monthly. So like for example, if you don't want to be paying every single month, you could rent it out for like a month and do all your animation work, and then you stop paying. $250 is not a lot of money for the kind of quality that you get. Okay, just keep in mind that it only works with Maya 2014 to 2017, but you can try and find out the creator of the ART tools for Maya, and on his blog there should be an in development tool for the newer versions of Maya that you can use. So yeah, if we take a close look now, you can see that our animation is very clean now. Okay, we have a problem with the shield there, just as I was saying, but we can make those adjustments in Maya. We can twist the wrist a little bit more just to fix that, so that if his wrist is twisted a little bit more, the shield will pop out. Okay, so we would have to fix up the attack animations as well, but I'm not gonna do that. You can do that in your own time. But yeah, in terms of animations, that's how you could go about retargeting the animations. For the walk, it's better to use the male walk in my opinion. If you want the female walk, you can use the female walk. You can even adjust it in Maya if you don't want the hips to be swinging. But for the walk, for the idol, I'd rather use the male animations. But yeah, we've got our character working, so the only thing that we need to do now is look at the retargeting and see if that's working properly. So I'm gonna press C. I'm gonna go for body fat and set it to 1. So body fat doesn't work because we have to rename the morph targets. Face shape 1, or rather face shape. This works. Face roundness, this doesn't work. I'm gonna have to rename the morph targets. Cheek size works. Jaw works. Nose, lip, I'm pretty sure they work. Eyes, there's no eye customization on this character. It's the eyes get customized within the face customization. So let's look at the skin. The skin works. In the full package, if we had a dark skin, it would come with a black person's skin texture. If we have a light skin, it would be a white person's skin texture. but that's not set up in this blueprint. So you could look at the blueprint for this character, the original pack, the custom character customization pack, and you can pull out the textures and make that function within this character. So I'm gonna exit from there, and I'm just gonna rename those morph targets. I'm not gonna rename the morph targets, I'm gonna rename the names of the morph targets in the blueprint. Okay, so I'm gonna right click on this and add it. Now I'm gonna go to the event graph. I don't think I have anything in the construction scripts. I don't use construction scripts. I feel like they're limited compared to the event graph. That's why I have everything out here. So here's where our character customization takes place for the most part. Okay. Update morph targets, character customization. So this is where it finds those morph targets. So this is named chubby. This is for the body weight. So I'm going to change this to body weight. And this should work now. I'm just going to double check the names of the morph targets. You should have a body weight somewhere here. Yeah, body weight. This is the name of the morph target. Another morph target I want to change is the face shape. This is face shape, this is face roundness. So face roundness I do believe wasn't working. Or it could be face shape, I'm not pretty sure. I'm just gonna check that and make sure. So the one that was not working must have been face roundness. So face roundness, I'm gonna change it to face shape 2. And you could rename this if you wanted. Not from here, you'd have to rename it from the widget. So face shape roundness, we're gonna change this to face shape 2 or face shape 1. Yeah, because face shape 2 is already there. I'll copy that name, I'll paste it here, and that should work. But it's no longer roundness. This should be the shape of an Asian face, and this should be the shape of a black face or African face. Whereas the default face should be the shape of a white person's face. I don't really know if that actually applies in reality. Pretty sure that, you know, across races we can have different types of face shapes. Okay, so yeah, that's done. So we've changed the chubbiness, we've changed the face shapes, and eye shape. We could add something else here that's not there. We could add muscle mass. Let's add muscle mass to the eye shape, and then would rename those within the widget, which is what displays in the game. So this is going to come out as eye shape when I'm playing because I haven't renamed that widget, but you can go into the widgets and you can rename that. It should be found in RPG game blueprints. Should be widgets instead of blueprints. Widgets. Should be a customization widget somewhere in here. Not this one. Yeah. So eye shape, you could say muscle mass. and face roundness. You could call it face shape too. And everything should work now, and we should be done. Jump into the customization and look at the body fat. 1 0 1 0. If we had a less bulky costume, we would probably see that better, but it works. Face shape works. The other face shape works, and everything else works. So I'm just gonna quickly do the other animations, and we're gonna run through the level with our new character. Now I'm gonna go to the female. I'm gonna find those animations. So I'm pretty sure we need the block. And the walk block. I'll export those. I'm pretty sure we need the root motion animations, probably all of them. But I'll just do the attack ones for today. That should at least get us enough to play through the level in a semi-decent way. And in your own time you can do all the rest of the animations. So retargeting actually probably is faster, but this is much cleaner, so I just choose this method. I'm gonna import the other animation. I'm gonna start with block 1. Everything's fine, I do believe. We'll export that. So always remember to click here, or else you overwrite whatever you exported last. I'm just gonna overwrite the original ones. Okay, that's done. I'm gonna import another one. The walk block. Okay, that looks very female, but I'm not gonna mess with it. Let's export that. So the animation length isn't really adjusting. You can adjust it from here and from some of these other options. I'm gonna import another animation. I'll do the attack 1 root motion. So I'm not really sure if you can do this for Paragon characters, because I'm not really sure if Paragon characters are based on the epic skeleton. If they are, then you probably can. If they're not, then you probably can't. Okay, so that's the attack. Okay, the time range is in fact adjusting. And even though this is set wrongly, it should come out correct in Unreal. No, in the export. If it doesn't, we can fix it another time. Let's just run through this quickly, and I'm pretty sure I remember that it comes out correct. Let's export that on number 2. Is there anything I've missed? Walk, block, run, block. Okay, I think I should have everything I want. Okay, I'm gonna jump over to Unreal, and I'm gonna jump over to my male character, search for that animation blueprint so that we can find these animations quickly. And let's go for the attacks first. Let's reimport with a new source. This is attack 1, root motion. So I think we have to do the attack again because I don't believe the root motion. Oh yeah, it's there. Okay, it's fine. Looks like the root motion came with it. No, it's not okay. Let's do these 2 attacks again because I was supposed to enable the root motion while importing. So let's re-export since we overwrote the ones we first exported. Let's re-export these. Where is that export button? Should be under asset actions. My brain is falling asleep. Okay, so we re-import these 2 in Maya. Attack 1, and this time we enable root motion master animation. And let's import that. And hopefully that should work. Attack 1, let's replace that. Let's do the same thing with the second attack. So it's already set up here. Let's jump back into Unreal. Let's try and re-import that. Okay, our root motion is working now. I'll just make sure by disabling it, or rather, no, it's not working. Let's try it one more time. Let's try and use a different setting. Let's use root motion and offset animation. Let's export that. I'm not going to overwrite this time in case it doesn't work. Let's just check it with that one animation there. No, still doesn't work, and in fact this time it seems it's been messed up. Well, it does look fine here. Okay, I think it should be working. Actually, I've re-imported the wrong file. Let's change the source. Should be this one. Okay, so if I remember correctly, in order to solve this, I think when it comes to root motion animations, I had to export to another software application first, because exporting directly from Maya to Unreal Engine, the root motion wouldn't work. The character just stayed in place, okay, the way it's doing now, whether I enable this or I do not. Okay, so for now we're just gonna go without root motion, because we're not going to get into a third application. But you could use something like Blender so that it breaks out the exported motion, and then by the time it gets into Unreal Engine, it should be working correctly. This character should be moving forward. Okay, so there's an issue with Maya when it comes to this root motion stuff. I think whether your original animation has the root moving or not, the root just stays in place when you export the animation. Okay, so that's why it has to pass through another app, you know. So anyway, that's how you would solve that. I believe that's how I solved that, because I've had this problem before. So anyway, I would suggest you export the animation to something like Blender. Blender is free, and then from Blender you export it back into Unreal Engine. I exported it to 3D Studio Max and then exported it to Unreal Engine after that, and the motion of the root was properly baked out by then. So I don't think there's any options on the export that can fix that within Maya. So yeah. It seems like Maya by default has everything in place. So anyway, we'll go ahead and re-import the other animation. So this means, like, the way we're doing it now, we're not gonna have that root motion driving the movement of the character. So I'm not gonna use this. I'm gonna use anyway. I'll just use this. Let's re-import the other animation. We'll go to Maya, and I'm gonna import attack 2. I will leave it set the way it is, because we don't want the character popping around from the motion. So attack 2, number 2. Let's export that. This sound is still a female sound. You can change that if you want. So for attack 2, so as you can see, it's supposed to step forward, but for it to work coming out of Maya, it has to go through another application. That's the only way I know how to fix it. So yeah, you can pass it through Blender or Studio Max or something else. So I'm gonna re-import this with a new resource. I'm gonna get that one. What's going on? I hope that's not a crash because we haven't saved. I have no idea what Max and Unreal Engine have to do with each other for it to stop responding. Or maybe it was something else. Anyway. So you notice that there's a pause at the end there. That's deliberate. To give it enough time to move into the next attack. So we're gonna do the block. This is not a root motion animation, should work just fine. We're also gonna do the should be one more. It's the block and walk block. This is also in place. Okay. So now if we hit play, I'm gonna save everything. If we hit play, we should have at least the majority of the important animations working. And you guys can go ahead and do the other animations on your own. You could use your own method, you don't have to use Maya. It should be a way to do it in Max, it should be a way to do it in Blender. So this is happening with the fingers here. This is because of the blend space. I need to change that one last animation in the blend space. This one. Well, that's the sprint one. We can use this for the sprint. Okay, should be fine now. A few of the animations like the roll and some of that other stuff, they still have to be changed. But I think this is as far as we're gonna go for today. I think we've been on for over an hour already. So yeah, the fall needs to be changed. I should have a falling animation already there. The roll needs to be changed. We should be good on attacks. Yeah, so even though we don't have that root motion there, it still looks fine. It's just a loss we're gonna have to deal with in this particular video, but it can be fixed. Let's jump into another app before you export it to Unreal. I think you can use Maya itself as well in actual reality. You just have to import without the plugin, the character rig, the ART plugin, the animation rigging tool. So yeah, as you can see, everything's just fine. So like there, I missed him because my character is not moving forward. That's the fault of the root motion not being there. Okay, and I'm dead. So yeah, that's how you can add another character there. It's obviously, I've only spent an hour on this. If you spend a lot of time, a couple of days working on proper animations, maybe even adjusting the blueprint to suit a male character and all the rest of that, you can have something great. You make some male armor, put it on his body, and all the rest of that good stuff. You can come up with something really, really great. I'm gonna jump over here and hit play because I wanna fight the dragon. Actually, I haven't tested out the dragon fight with a different character. I'm sure it will work just the same, but let's just check it out. I'm gonna ignore these guys over here. I'm gonna sprint to the other side. I think I pressed R by mistake. It used a grenade. I'm gonna switch to the bombs. It used a health potion, so I'm gonna switch to the grenades. I actually wanted to toss a grenade when I pressed R. Yeah, this is a very long bridge. Yeah, usually you would have to go into the castle and open the gate, but I just dropped the character somewhere near the dragon so I can avoid that. Wow, I'm dead. Yeah, I barely remember how to play this. So anyway, I think that's it, guys. You just have to fix up the animations if you're exporting, if you're getting a character from one project and putting it in another project. Mostly the only issues you have to deal with are animations. If there's customizations, you might have to deal with a few morph target issues, but it's not that complicated. You just need to have the knowledge of how to do it. Personally, I had to learn how to do all this stuff on my own for the most part. Mostly I just learned by looking at other people's blueprints, some of the marketplace products which are there, and there's lots of free stuff on the marketplace. You can learn from that stuff, you know. So yeah, I can guide you through a lot of this stuff, but what I really advise you guys to do is learn as much as you can, even on your own. So yeah, that's the process. And thanks for watching. I hope this was useful for you guys, and I hope you can apply it even to other projects, whether you're using my project or you're using somebody else's project. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and keep learning. I'll see you guys next time.